Hello everyone. Last week, many fund managers became aware that the SFDR deadline on the 10th of March 2021 is approaching very fast. So many questions came up with respect of what they actually need to do and what they actually need to do for their funds. So in this brief video, I wanted to set out what types of obligations apply to fund managers itself, but also what type of obligations apply to their products, their funds. So in the first place, fund managers, both alternative investment fund managers, but also UCITS mancos, need on the entity level to take a number of decisions as to how they comply with the obligations on the entity level. And these obligations on the entity level are as follows. In the first place, they need to integrate sustainability risks in their investment decision making procedures. So how they deal with all kind of sustainability risks, but also how the fast track procedure of the CSSF is indicating they need to update their risk management policy in this respect, because investment decision making, portfolio management never goes alone. It is always in conjunction with risk management. So although it's not specified uh, in particular in the SFDR, it's not very specified, it always goes hand in hand. In the second place, they will on the entity level need to decide whether they publish a principal adverse impact statement or not. And depending upon their size, so depending upon whether they have 5 employees or 500 employees or less, it is mandatory or it applies on a comply or explain basis. So if you have more than 500 employees, you're obliged to publish such an PAI statement by the summer of 2021. And if you're a so-called small manager, then you need to publish such a statement on a comply or explain basis already by the 10th of March 2021. So in the third place, fund managers need to update their remuneration policies, and these need to adequately reflect any sustainability risks. All three of these obligations would need to be published on the website of the manager itself, but you do not need to put on your website all policies and procedures in its entirety. An excerpt which is reflecting the specific part referring to the SFDR is sufficient. So what types of obligations apply to alternative investment funds and to UCITS in itself on the product level? Well, there are a number of obligations applying to these, and it in particularly depends upon the type of label that is chosen under the SFDR. Under the SFDR, there are 3 types of labels. In the first place, you have the so-called Article 6 label, which requires that all funds, regardless whether a sustainability objective is chosen or whether the product promotes any environmental or social objectives, need to explain to what extent they take sustainability risks into account, or they need to explain why they don't. And they need to include this on their website in their annual report, but also in their Article 23 disclosure or in their prospectus. So that is applying to the Article 6 type of funds. Depending upon whether an Article 8 label or Article 9 label is chosen, the type of information and the requirements to be published are quite more detailed and more specified. So Article 8 is a type of comply or explain product. It is a product which promotes environmental or social characteristics, but in its disclosure documents it would need to specify to what extent it is intending to invest in sustainable investments, to what extent it intends to invest in investments promoting having any environmental or social characteristics, and to what extent it intends to invest in any assets that do not comply with either of these characteristics. So that is that's an important thing for Article 8. For Article 9, these are really the sustainable investment funds, and these need to either have as an objective environmental objective or a social objective, but it needs to be sustainable, and to that extent there is a kind of backstop, which is so-called the principle of do not do significantly harm, which says that you can only qualify as an Article 9 fund if you do not do significantly harm to all other 6 types of environmental investment objectives, which is in practice very, very, very hard, and also that is the reason why for the moment we do not see this label to be chosen so much for the moment. So to these latter two types of funds, Article 8 and 9, specific types of information need to be disclosed in the prospectus or the issuing document, in the annual report or the website. And these go beyond what you need to publish for Article 6 funds. So having said that, I hope this overview was useful. And I thank you for watching and hope to see you next time. Bye.